Hi friends, it's Kelly. I'm here with my Scrap Diva design project using the large Victorian frame die set. It's new in the release this December, and I've cut it out of some older crepe paper. I'm going to pop up the eyelet frame over the solid frame so that the red just peeks through the pink. And then I'm going to pop up the entire frame on my background, and you'll see that in a little bit. So I've torn some pattern paper to layer them up at the top. I'm going to start by taping down the lowest layer and just add them from there. I think they're about 1.5 inches wide, maybe. I didn't measure. It's just a random tear. They're all similar, but definitely not equal. So I ruffled up the bottom a bit just to lift them and add a little more texture. I'm going to add my frame there on a slant, and I added the same paper onto the bottom, just a strip of it as the striped paper on top, and I thought that created a nice border. Everything will be sandwiched in between the striped paper. So I'm going to be adding some poinsettias and some snowflakes into the mix of my vignette. The snowflakes are cut from the Christmas gnome die set, and I used some sparkly Spellbinders foam paper. I'll leave links for the products that I used, like these Doodlebug beads, in the description box. All the ephemera on my layout is Makenna Christmas by LDRS Creative. I just thought the colors were so cute and pretty, and I'll leave a link for that as well. And this is the little banner I made for the top of my layout, and I'm going to show you in just a bit how I made the tassels. I'm not gluing anything down at the moment. I'm just kind of auditioning them, and once I like how things are placed, then I will add my double-sided sticky tape or foam tape to pop things up. And I'm kind of liking that. What a lot of people do is take a photograph, and I did last night. I kind of had an idea of where I wanted to put things. So I'm going to add some foam tape to my large Victoria frame and start to adhere all the pretty elements to my layout. I've added the Doodlebug shaker elements, the little colored balls, into the center of my poinsettias, and they added the perfect touch and dimension. You get 12 colors, so I mean, you can use them on just about anything you make. I love them. Another way to add texture and shape is to shape your flowers. Pinch the petals up, fold up little edges, and lift things up with foam tape. I like my clusters or vignettes to be really tight. I don't spread a lot of things around my layout. I want to cluster them around the main element, like so. Now the Scrap Diva Designs Victorian frame comes with 2 frames that you can cut for the center of your large frame, and you can do this several different ways. You can pop the frame on top of your photo, but I decided I wanted the frame surrounding my photo that's popped up, and I'm going to put some white cardstock behind my photo just to give it some sturdiness so that it will be held up nicely when I place foam tape on it. I'm using a sanding block to take off some of the photo around the edge. That'll leave a small white frame that'll help it stand off of the pattern paper. So I'm going to add some liquid glue. I cut the frame in green and then cut it in white twice and layered them all together. I do this a lot with my die cuts. I just think that it's really noticeable. It makes them really sturdy and stand up with foam tape, and gives your layout a lot more dimension. So I'm going to pop up my photo in the center and pat it down with my hand and finish with the other corner of my photo. I'm adding the elements on a diagonal around my photo. This is a common scrapbooking trick, I guess. It takes the viewer's eye from the top of your layout across your photo and down through the rest of the elements that you've carefully placed. So once I have all the elements or ephemera around my photo, I'm going to add a small banner to the top right-hand corner, just to bring some interest to the top portion of my layout. And I used a couple of pieces of the ephemera from the Makenna Christmas and placed those together along with some tassels. And I am going to demonstrate how I make my tassels. And maybe you thought they were really tricky or difficult, but they're sure not. Isn't this little deer so cute? The ephemera in this Makenna collection, Makenna Christmas, is super cute. It was hard to decide what to use. I don't like to add, too much. You do want your photo to be the star of your show, but they had the perfect elements to use on this layout for Scrap Diva. And glue down one more piece of ephemera, and there you go. It's kind of going top left to bottom right. And here's the banner that I've been telling you about. There's some die cut flowers, a puffy sticker, two pieces of ephemera, and I'm going to just tape it directly to the layout at the top. I won't use foam tape here because I like to put my favorite layouts in a gallery frame and hang it. And when there's foam tape there, it doesn't lay in the gallery frames very well. So there's all the elements for my top corner. Let me show you how I go about making a tassel. So I've used a die, and this quilling tool has an opening at the end that you can push the paper into. If you don't have a die, you can simply cut a piece of pattern paper the right length and width and use your fringing scissors to make some fringe. So I've rolled it together, add a little glue along the way, and I want to put some glittered paper on top. And you can use paper. I'm using washi tape, but use whatever you want. Maybe you even want pattern paper on top, something contrasting to your tassel. So I've gone ahead and cut that a little bit too short. Let me cut another piece. And I'm just going to affix my washi tape to the double-sided tape. I just think I want to be sure it's held really well, and washi tape sometimes pops off. And there you have your tassel. So I'm using some metallic thread, and I've tied a double knot. And this will ensure the thread doesn't pull all the way through the tassel and out. So I put the needle up through the tassel and come out of the top part where I rolled it. And I'm going to add a little cotton pom-pom and a little bead, tie another knot, and that's it. Then you tie that element onto a banner or a photo, anywhere's on your photo. I just think they add a really cute element to your layout and add a little movement if you don't have it in a frame. And so I'm going to add my last little reindeer, and this is an element I add to every single layout, and this is what I add usually near the end. I choose some sequins, and they don't have to match exactly, just ballpark colors. I don't worry about matchy I think it's more interesting actually if they don't match exactly. So I'm using lime green, light aqua, some red, some pink. None of them match exactly. And I just glue them down with my fine line bottle. There's Scott's tacky glue in my bottle. And I don't add too many, just to add some shine and sparkle to your page. Again, I like to do everything really tight to my main element, my cluster, and not spread it around my layout too much. And I'm going to finish off by adding some stickles, gold stickles. You can get them in at least a dozen colors, if not more. And I add them on everything I make. I just think it adds the perfect little touch of glitter. You can add a little, add a lot. I just touch my page and go all around the layout, adding it closely to the rest of the elements. It really allows your elements to be tied together too. And finally, I'm going to use the bottom of a paintbrush and some gold acrylic paint. This one's by Ephemera, and dab that in and around my primary element. I even dabbed some on my photo. Sure, why not? It just really ties it all together. So the very last thing I decided to do on this element, besides add a title, and it's something I struggle with. I never really leave myself enough room for the title. I'm always playing with the elements, and I'm like, oh yeah, I need a title. So I play with that a whole bunch. I kind of audition a few things. Ho 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 didn't seem to go. And then I tried Dear Santa. That didn't work. And so then I tried Twinkling, because the tree was twinkling. Didn't like that. So actually I stopped the filming and went off on my own. And you can see I added a simple 3-letter word, joy, down near the bottom of my cluster. So finally, I decided I needed to add a beaded border to my stripe border. I made holes 1/4 inch apart, and you go in a hole, add a bead, down the next hole, and so on. And I didn't start in the edge of my layout. I started about 3/4 across, added the beads, and then went from the left to the right, joined up with a bow. And I kind of really like that. So I want to thank Erica for having me as a guest designer here in December for Scrap Diva Designs. Check the description box for links to products and visit scrapdivadesign.com to shop, or on Instagram it's at scrapdiva29 for inspirations using the dies and products. And here come some close-ups. Thanks for being here.